which means you want to kind of snooze. But if you snooze, you lose. So we're going to go through this really high-powered presentation that Shab has for you on global grants that I have for you for District International Services. And we'll make it worth your while to stay awake, okay? That's the goal. So I'm going to count it down with the timer so we stay on schedule. I'm John Tulak. I am the District International Services Committee Chair. I'm going into my second year of doing that. Thanks to Bob Spence for getting me on this committee to begin with, because no good deed in Rotary goes unpunished. So here I am. And I am a member of the Rotary Club of Claremont, where we do pioneer a lot of good international projects. And we are happy to welcome partners to that. More on that in just a little bit. Why am I the District International Services Committee Chair? The real reason is I'm an international business attorney, and I've done projects large and small all over the world. So the expertise helps a lot in the role that I have here for the district. So we're going to get right into it. What do we want out of any project, right? We want impact and engagement. We want to know that what we do has value and it's going to work, and that the community that we seek to serve has bought into it. So that is going to mean that we use metrics. We want to evaluate a project properly. We want to have our eyes and ears on the ground to make sure it's done well. And we want to be able to follow up for sustainability. And we start by doing good planning first. So that means involving usually multiple members of the club if they want to do a project themselves. And that means the engagement part. In order to have the impact, we have to have our members involved. And that might be, if you're a small club, just one person, and that's okay because you're never alone. You have an entire support group with the District International Services Committee, and we have the resources to help you with your project, large or small. So we want to do both things, impact and engagement, everything you do. Come on in, have a seat. There's no quiz, so you can sit up front. I want, so it's the royal we. I want 100% participation by all the clubs in the district in an international service project this year. And you say, nobody gets 100%. But I'm going to show you how every club, large or small, big dollars, little dollars, 1 member or 20 members involved, can be a part of an international service project. So how do we do that? We can do that with our district-sponsored projects. We have the Rotoplas missions, and we have our home building in Mexico. So if you can't do anything else, write a small check or a large check to the district to fund one of those 2 projects. You have just done an international project. You can do a club-initiated project. It's a little more work, but it's a lot more rewarding when your members get involved with something, particularly if they can do something hands-on. But again, all you have to do is write a check in support of some project. A really easy, cheap one, we need clean water in lots of places in the world. Sometimes we need it on a temporary basis. Water straws cost $2 a piece and can keep a person who needs clean water from dying. And you can buy 100 of them for $200, and they get distributed where they're needed. Doesn't take a lot to do that. You can club partner projects with a club that does a lot of international projects like we do, or San Marino Club does. And you can participate with us, and you can put people with us and our people, so you get the hands-on component as well. And it's a good way to raise money when you have a project that isn't big enough or doesn't otherwise qualify for a global grant, but you can't do it all yourself. So a project up to $30,000, we go horizontally among clubs to raise the funds. Global grants, Shab's going to talk about in his half of the show, so we're going to pass over that for right now. So hands-on involvement, that's important for impact and engagement. Write a check, large or small. I'm going to give you now the easiest international project in the world. Every single club can do this every single year. I call it clean out the clutter. We do it every year at Claremont Rotary. You have pens. They followed you home from the dentist's office or from the Chamber of Commerce meeting. You have pencils. These accumulate. You're not using them. Kids all around the world are short of school supplies. And so a used pen or a pencil that still work, we can take these things in. We have ways of getting them distributed. We even have ways of getting them over. We don't have to pay the freight. So I don't want to collect 1,000 pens from Claremont Rotary every year. I'd like to collect 50,000 pens and pencils throughout the whole district. Every single club can do this. Do it in January. Clean out your clutter. Spring cleaning comes early. 100% participation. This is how we do it. Also, we would like every club to appoint a liaison to our district international service committee. It might be the foundation chair. It might be, if you have your own international project committee, someone on that committee. But I would like someone who is your point of contact from every club. That way I don't burden the club presidents with a whole lot of stuff that they may not have the time personally to engage in. You're taking notes about all this, right? All right. These are going to go up on the web at some point too. So I can go quickly through some of the things that you can get from our website on international service. What our committee does is project review and guidance for something that a club may want to do. We can help you assess it. We can provide you the resources from Rotary and from the outside business community to help do a project. We have real experts in things like clean water and sanitation within our district, let alone throughout the Rotary world. And so whatever project you need to do, if you need help, we can get you the resources to do that. That's one of the reasons why the committee exists. And then we have the endorsed projects. Again, these are self-executing, but we need volunteers every year to go on those missions. And so that's a really good hands-on experience for club members. Our services committee is involved in global partnerships all over the world. That's Bob Spence in the middle, by the way. We do collaborative planning with Rotary clubs elsewhere in the world on things that they want to do. And we keep track of the communities that we serve. And this is something that is important because you have to report back to your members. You know, what are you doing with our money? What are you doing with our time and talent? So the reporting back is important. What do I do besides being the cheerleader for all this? That's the motivation part. We maintain the list of resources. We get it available to you. We help you find partners. We support what you're doing. We collaborate with your presidents and your foundation chairs, and we promote using best practices that Rotary says we should follow. If you don't know what those are, and they sometimes change, you ask us and we'll get them for you. So our resource network is really pretty detailed. I don't need to go through all of this right now. Again, this is on the web available for everybody to see. I want to save time for chapter 2, which is how we collaborate with each other. And it starts with the ability of our committee to support everybody involved in the district that could have some bearing on an international project. So that is from the district governor and the line of succession down to your specific international project committees. We are a resource for you for all those things. So let's take a look at how we make an impact with our projects. You're gonna say, you said this already. You know what? Good marketing expert says you have to hear a message 21 times before it sinks in and sticks with you because you're bombarded with messages. So this is twice now. Provide the funds. You don't want me to say it 19 more times, right? So you're really paying good attention on this. You can provide the funds. You can provide on-site work and support. That's the hands-on component. And by the way, hands-on isn't always, I've got to be somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you know, with malaria treatment. You can provide hands-on support through a Zoom meeting. You're engaged with your counterpart somewhere else in the world where that project's going on. And partnering with other clubs. You are never alone, so don't think you have to do it all by yourself. Know it all. That's why we exist. So I wanted to spend most of my limited time with you today talking about a couple of case studies because this will help illustrate the how part. What I just gave you really, really fast, you can look up. Real training is how do I do things? And so I want to tell you that our Rotary Club of Claremont, San Marino, some of the other clubs have really learned how to do certain kinds of projects and do them well. And it starts with the impact that we can make with the money that we will give or how we be able to engage our members. So we think about the projects. We also pick good partners, not only a local Rotary Club that we can count on, because we can't always count on a small Rotary Club in a remote part of Africa to be able to do much. So we also need the external resources on site, eyes and ears on the ground who are reliable. You make sure that contractors do the work, do it on time, don't cheat, don't skimp on materials, don't skim. we can find all of those in almost any part of the world if we know what it is that you need. The resources for doing that are substantial. Our Rotary Club of Claremont has been involved in one region of Tanzania for now about 10 years. And we started with water. We started this water for a school. The next project was we did irrigation. So we brought the water into the fields. The next project brought water to the school directly. And then we have a water management project that we just funded that will be done in this coming year. And that means that we prevent the water from flooding during monsoon so that the kids don't go to school muddy and at risk of disease. And we also add a water catchment system, so we capture some of that water that would otherwise be lost because it doesn't all seep into the ground. So why does this work? Because we know who we're working with there, and we have reliable contractors. And so the community is bought in, and we can sustain projects there for some period of time. We dug boreholes in Uganda back in my year as president, and that was a big project. And the boreholes were very successful. What wasn't very successful, we found a year later, is that the villagers weren't drinking the clean water. They were so used to muddy, dirty water that they thought, this doesn't taste right. Okay. So in that second year back, where we were there to do animal husbandry, that was the next step in the village, we also started training about hygiene and sanitation and some other things. So we stayed in that particular set of 6 villages for several years, doing different things each year. Our partner with that was Village Network Africa, which was a small nonprofit started by a Claremont woman, retired director of nursing from Azusa Pacific. So why did those projects work really well? We had good people on both ends, and we had eyes and ears on the ground. It was sustainable. But we learned from the first year that we didn't assess how the villagers would react to getting something we thought was obvious. Clean water that had no taste and no color. So, I Cal Poly alum, taught there for many years. Our motto at Cal Poly is learn by doing. Every engineer will tell you that's the best way to learn, right? So sometimes you're going to make a mistake, but if you make a mistake, you can fix things. And if a mistake happens and you don't know how to fix it, ask us. We'll figure out a way to address any particular problem that comes up. Another easy set of things that we've done is we've provided school supplies to several schools, one in Tanzania where we've been, one in Kenya. In South Africa, we used our district grant money this year to provide school supplies for an entire year for every single child from kindergarten through middle school in the poorest school in the poorest township near Cape Town. These kids have nothing. Their parents have nothing. They all got a nice kit with all the school supplies they needed for a year with a nice Rotary sticker on it. And we had Rotarians who put all those kits together, assembled them, then distributed them to the school. Also in South Africa, we taught women how to sew. But we first had to teach teachers how to sew with manual sewing machines. And it was so popular that the original purpose was to help girls make their own menstrual kits, menstrual pads. And the boys wanted to learn how to sew too, because they knew learning how to sew was a good life skill. And so we are done with that particular project, but that project has legs. It's continuing. It was sustainable. And so how do we get to make good projects like that? That's what I'm going to use my remaining time with, just after giving you a couple of examples. We're going to look at essentials for a successful project. Now, this is what I call training. And I'm going to go through this really fast, but we will have a real training during the upcoming year early where your people in your club who are interested in doing this will get an hour and a half to 2 hours of detail of how you do your international project, how you get the very beginning, which starts with buy-in. You start with buy-in within your club. We want to do an international project. Then what kind of a project do we want to do? You can't just impose it on somebody. Here, you need this. No. That's how we used to do things. And that's unsustainable because if the community doesn't buy in, it's just like, I'm not going to drink your clean water. So you have to do a community assessment. And the community assessment can't be done by your local Rotarians, filled out by local Rotarians. It has to involve the stakeholder community members because it's for them. Without that, nothing else works. Everything else fails. And we have a great community assessment tool, which is actually pretty easy to utilize. It's just not easy at the beginning to get people to understand you have to fill in every blank. You have to actually put the work in to doing this. This is the most critical thing. You have to have eyes and ears on site, and you can't always rely on your local Rotarian to do that. You have to have somebody else, and we can find you the somebody else if you can't find that person or set of persons to do that. You have to have cultural awareness and sensitivity. You cannot just impose. We used to spend millions of dollars through well-intentioned organizations, including Rotary, building really big projects or things that we thought everybody would need, and they rusted out. When I was in Brazil one time a few years ago, I saw all these big abandoned projects. Why? Because nobody thought about who's going to maintain them. The skills weren't there. The money wasn't there. And so these big, huge projects that were announced with such great fanfare are all rusted out and abandoned. Whether that's large or small, that's just a total waste of money. Rotary doesn't want us to do that. So cultural awareness means that we have to have an understanding of the local community to be able to approach them properly with what we're proposing to do to help them, because sometimes they don't want the help. I'll give you a quick example. This was a for-profit project that got stalled in Uganda back when I was a very young lawyer, and they couldn't figure out why. Why are we getting all this resistance from the local tribal leaders? This is good for them. I found a book in the LA County Law Library that was written by a British solicitor, a British lawyer, who gathered customs and practice and tribal laws of all the tribes in Uganda. And I read this book. It was only like 70 pages, 80 pages. But I said, well, no wonder they hate us. We're not talking their language. We're not taking into account the tribal differences and the tribal similarities, and this is their land, and we didn't ask them. And when we did tell them what we were doing for them, we didn't do that very well either. I shared what I found in this book with the developers of the project. I said, you got to change your approach. What was in it for my client? If the project doesn't go forward, they don't get any money for the work on the project. They changed the approach, the project got built. Cultural awareness and sensitivity is critical. Know who you're dealing with. Geographical awareness. I'm not going to send Rotarians into certain parts of Sudan where they're solving their problems by shooting at each other. Okay? There are people who know how to go into a combat zone and deliver services, deliver medical equipment, and so on. I'm not going to send somebody to Haiti with medical equipment. I'm not going to send somebody with medical supplies or equipment to Uganda because it'll get confiscated. It gets skimmed off by corruption. If we're going to get medical supplies into Uganda, we have to go about it a different way. So geographical awareness, you got to know the territory, if you remember the Music Man. You have to build that into what you're going to do with your project. And finally, you've heard this many, many times in many different ways from Rotary now. Your project has to be sustainable. You're not in and out unless it's something that is for immediate impact, does its job, and it's done. And we have plenty of projects like that. The water straws example, a perfect example of good impact, immediate, relatively inexpensive, and it's over and finished. It's not meant to be a long-term solution to water shortages anywhere in the world. Okay, so these are the keys to success for any international project. And then my remaining bit of time, you need the fully completed community assessment. And here are the things that we need. It's conducted by the host community and it's filled out. The Rotarians can help do all that, but it's got to have the community. It identifies real needs, existing assets, and local capacity. Can this actually work where we're going to do it? It documents who benefits, how they benefit, and for how long they will benefit. It confirms community ownership and commitment to maintain this after we're gone. And by we, I mean not only the club here, but the local Rotary Club, we're not putting a permanent responsibility on them with whatever resources they have, which are oftentimes very scarce. And we have 7, 8 member Rotary clubs in a lot of places around the world. I think we have a Rotary club in our district that's like 10 or 11 members, right? So you can only do so much. And then finally, if you're going to do a global grant, this is something that's going to be looked over with a fine-tooth comb before you get a global grant approval and get a GG number. Okay, so this is really the key. And with that, yes, I thought.
Can I make a comment? I was in India a few years ago regarding water and sanitation, and few other non-profit organizations that were doing the same thing within like 1 month. I think it would be good to research who is doing whatever that project. I think that's important.
That's a key part of the assessment.
Okay,
yeah.
Two clubs from different countries that are doing the same thing.
Exactly. And so we don't want to step on each other's toes, and we don't want to duplicate effort. And you know, I'll give you one more example. When we did the first run of the sewing project, we did not do that in South Africa. We did it in Zimbabwe. And we ran up against another nonprofit trying to do the same thing, but selling their stuff. And it was a terrible clash. We didn't start this fight, but it interfered with our project. And so we realized to continue what we wanted to do, we needed to do it somewhere else. So we ceded the territory to someone else. So with the calls to action and bringing Shab up, I want to just say, pull this up, and then Shab's going to do his slides.
Joel has a question.
We have 7 areas of service. Just remember, find the one that works for you.
Before you leave, does the Claremont Club have any currently active projects?
Yes, we do.
Tanzania?
In Tanzania, yes, with that one school. And then we're doing a similar school starting in this upcoming year in Kenya. We're going to lead a $93,000 project. So we're going to get this qualified for a global grant. It will be putting a biodigester in near a local landfill. And we're going to bring power to the school. It's a very ambitious project. All right, thank you very much. Here's Shab.
John, you're great. Thank you very much for saving the road for me. So hopefully my presentation or the stuff will come up too. Okay, here we go.
That's just it. You better press that. Yeah, your board on one of the 2 sides. It popped up at first.
Oops. Yeah, I finished ahead of time.
Well, John really put it out for you, generally, what it takes to be international. So what this is the theoretical part. What we're going to do, what we have done this year, we put resources with it. So why do we put resources? It's because we want everyone in the district to have whatever we know, we want it to know. So whatever we have, we want it to have. Why? The more you know, the better you serve. So that's how it is in work. So, and with that, we put so many resources, so hopefully it was working before. So,
Yeah, I thought I was the one with the problem and you were going to have it easy.
Where's the controller?
It's plugged directly into the TV.
did it pop out? Did it come on before? I tried it before. It came on before.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, now.
Hey.
All right. So in order, before we go on, what I like you to do is I want you to take things will, when you take it home, that you're gonna take it electronically, no paper. We're environmentally also savvy, so no paper. So we accumulated for you, real, here we go. Try face again. Yeah. Okay, so take your phones out, take a picture or scan. But also, I wanna have May come up as a visit, because I gave all these resources to May, who's one of your area of focus also. And she took all of that and accumulated. The first time in the history of our district, our international team is together on the website with all the resources. So, I'm gonna, why do we, like, you guys got it? You can also open it while we're talking. You can open it and look what's in it. Okay? So it's a lot of good resources. Why? Not only for international, it's for everything in Rotary, and I'll show you why. It's everything in your team and Rotary. Okay, so if we take the first link out of these resources, what I've done, I took every little web page from Rotary International and I put it in a hyperlink. So what do you want to know about? You want to know about Rotary Club Central? You can go from here. Let's say you want to know about Global Grant, right? So what I do is I push in the Global Grant. If I'm doing a Global Grant and I want to know what's that area of focus takes to do a Global Grant, I would go right there. It takes you right into Rotary International. You don't have to log in or anything. What's good about this? Our Rotary Act, they don't have access to all of them browsers, or half of your club do not have access. It's not registered with Rotary International on my Rotary. How to know that? Who is a secretary or a club foundation or club executive secretary of this group? Or president? If you are, you can go on Rotary International and pull your club members, and on the left-hand side, if it has a Y and an M, what that means. Why? Yes, they've been on Rotary International, on my Rotary, and they have not been. And I bet you, if you go to your club and you check that out, half of your club will not be on my Rotary, have not been on my Rotary. And my Rotary is probably the best resource that you could ever have. So if you're doing a global grant, any of these area of focus, all you have to do is, let's say, disease of prevention, and guess what? Either you do it over here, or we have a chair also in the district that will also help you, or we can help you. Why do we do this? Well, I know a lot about global grants. Here's what I know. I know that we put over 850 global grants globally together, because we have a group that we meet on a monthly basis. It's not on a club basis. Now we have districts, we have zone level, but this is what we do on a monthly basis. And in that group, we have over 680 people doing global grants together worldwide. And how we do it? She's from Ecuador. She's from Brazil. She has about $10,000 in funds. She has $10,000 or less. We marry her. So she becomes the primary for your project, you become primary for her project, and guess what? The project is on. And why we do that? Because we cannot have do a lot of global grants in the United States. And all the money we give, yes, it's great because we are one community worldwide. But all the money we give, we have to give it away. But this way, you can have a partner say, well, you know, with $25,000 in your project, can I have that? And then I'm going to give you 5 or 10, whatever you're going to give them. So you give them more, but at least you come back to your community, and then you can do a project. And how we can find a project? Let's see, we open this one, and it tells you exactly what you need to know about that area of focus. Okay, so the information is there. to do a global grant, what are the basics? Anybody? Basic number one. Okay, so it has to be 30,000 minimum. Second, it has to be, you have to have an assessment. John talked about that. Third, it has to be sustainable, right? Also, the most important thing, if you're doing a project with international, you have to have minimum of $15,000 from that international project. So if you do it with Africa, they're the host. They do not have to put a tent because we said minimum from the international. So you're the international, you can put all the money, right? It has to be between a district to district, club to club, Rotary club to Rotary club, because they do not have them do Rotary to Rotary, or vice versa. Okay? So, and we emphasize on, if you're gonna please really the international to your club, like myself, when I first started with international, my club says, you're foreigner, you can fit as an international director, so we're gonna give you international. Okay, I said, fine, so I take it on. So I go to my government the first time, it used to be national grant, right? So I go to him and said, I would like to have a project for $3,000, solar cooker. So I'll give you $3,000, that's kind of nice. So I made a deal, invite everybody, so the government comes, sit down and said, so what do you think? I said, I'm not gonna give you $3,000. I said, why? I said, your club pays zero for the foundation. So now I understand what the foundation is, right? So within 5 years, my club was at $550 per person for the foundation. How did they do it? John Lewis said, bring the international to your club. Invite people. Even if you have a global grant somewhere in Africa, and you are in a club meeting, arrange the time for them to go on live and then put that as a program on live on Zoom with your club. Why not? My wife right now, she's on Mexico. What they're doing, they're cleaning the Rio Bravo River. She and her governor and also 500 volunteers. I said, you hire someone to bring you live on Facebook and YouTube. And today, what we're doing, we are taping in about, by the end of the day, you can go on my YouTube, and then you're gonna see this session on YouTube. Why do we do it? We need the international to come to your club so people can do projects and also helps with membership and with foundation. That's why Africa has more projects, more for the foundation and all more service, more giving to the foundation. We lost one director, they gained one because they increasing in numbers because they know what international understands for how important it is. So with that, I am going to bring May, and May is going to show us what she has done to show. May, come on up, please. May is one of the 7 areas of focus. Betty just left, but Betty is one of the areas of focus. So these are the areas of focus that we have, and we have for the areas of focus. You can these are on the website right now, May, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
all of this.
So I put the here we go. And I put that for you, May. You can. Okay, May is gonna tell us what she did at our website.
Yeah, so, when I'm not running my club or RILA or TLC or, raising my kids and living life, I help my PDG, my children, manage the website. So, one thing when I took up, I'm the sub chair for maternal and child health for Globe Grants is that all these resources that are available to us, it was all on like Sean's head or on his computer, and we needed a way to make it available to everybody so that, if they're interested in putting a global grant together, they have the resources available to them. So on rotary5300.org, which is our district website, there is this page, and you can find it by going to foundations, grants, global grants, and then connecting for global grants here right on the right hand side. So when you click on that, it will come here. And so this is going to give you information around how to put a grant together. And so this just talks a little bit about like what resources are available to you. So if you're going to be putting a grant together, first and foremost, you want to make sure you put it on matchinggrants.org, and then you also want to add it to the global grants information sheet. So Sean uses the matchinggrants.org shows all the global projects Rotary wide, and then the global grants information. That's what Sean uses to kind of help push things forward and connect people in order to help fund the grants. But there's information on this page around a monthly, the third Tuesday of every month, there's a Zoom meeting where if you have any questions about how to put a grant together, how to find funding, et cetera, that you can join that. You can join that Zoom meeting there, and it's every Tuesday unless Sean says it's not happening.
It happens every month. Unless I'm the
Rain or shine.
All right, and as Shabba had mentioned earlier, so there are some minimum requirements in order to put a grant together. So, for example, budget has to be minimum $30,000. There has to be a partnership between a U.S.-based, like a Rotary Club here, and then a Rotary Club within the area in which this project is going to happen. There's an assessment that has to be done. Has to be sustainable. Has to align with one of the areas of focus, et cetera, et cetera. So that's listed now on the website. So if you're not sure, you can use that as your checklist as you're putting your grant together. You need to talk to any of us that are aligned to the area of focus. You can actually go to the very bottom here. So this is the committee. So if you need to contact Sean, there's you just click on the word contact. It brings up a form. You type it in, and then he gets an email. And then that's the case for all of us as well. So Betty, she's the chair for basic education and literacy. Jean-Pierre, community economic development. Disease prevention and treatment is Benji. I'm again maternal and child health. Betty's also peace building. Water sanitation and hygiene is Edward, and then environment is Richard. And then if these change, then we'll make sure to update them. But again, just click the contact button and email will go to each one of us. I'm going to scroll back up here to the top. So on the right hand side is just a list of resources in order to help you put your grant together. So again, a link to matchinggrants.org, a link to the global grants info sheet, and then there's also a link to Archie, which is a GPT specific to Rotary. Have you guys heard of Archie before? So it is based on ChatGPT. So Archie is a GPT that was built specifically for Rotary. So it's already been trained on all things Rotary, and so there's a link to it there. So if you're familiar with ChatGPT, you can use the Archie GPT in order to help you put your grant together. And I think we'll probably talk more about that in the AI. There's an AI session.
That's coming next.
Okay, yeah. So I'm sure they're going to talk about Archie there, but I add the link to it here because it'll be a great resource to help put your grant together. Links to the Rotary Foundation, and then there are, I just say, different page links to the different pages on the Rotary Foundation, depending on what you're looking for. And then these are just some other useful resources that you may or may not need depending upon your particular grant. There's some like WhatsApp, chat forums. I don't know, Sean, if you want to talk. I'm not super familiar with what they discussed there, but maybe we can talk about that one.
Okay.
But that's it. Just want to let you guys know that's all available now. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
We are running a little over according to our timekeeper here. So
Okay, also, we're gonna ask, other committee members, Hassan is on the fees, so, budget disease management, clean water, Ed, with that, Ed, between Walter Samuel, and Samuel, mother and childhood name. The education, Betty, again, so she's not here. Local community economics is Jean Pierre, so you can connect with him. Environmental is Rich Conrad. And if you like to find a project on the somewhere, go on matchinggrants.org. And if you go on matchinggrants.org, 1 minute, you can find any project you want to participate with. Anything you want in any area of focus. And on this website, what I do also for the district, as a global grant chair, I travel the world. I send a lot of project fairs and I connect project fairs together. And if you hit my club in the search box, you will find right now about 80 global grants that my club is participating with. Well, that's a good feather in Hans' cap. So if I go to search on the top, why I do that? So you can, when it comes to the district, if I put Las Vegas 1, when it comes to the district, you can go on and adopt that project. Okay, that like anybody else does in the world. So actually, this is my club. We have 72 global grants that we're participating with. May said about the meeting every month. So in that meeting, we connect people live. You partner with this. So once they partner, and then I have a number over here, I go in and I put anyone, please. If I hit it, and then I go to financing, you will see our little club name, Las Vegas 1. I put $100, and this is $100. That's $100 from the district. So, and then Rotary will match it with 80%. So that's $280 right away. And what's important about it, I become the international primary. So you can take a threshold. Do not be afraid to take any international primary or any global grant. I will help you personally. Karen, where's Karen? Karen is right there. We're doing a project in Ukraine, right? I will be at the end of the month in Ukraine, in South Ukraine, to finish a project. We call it mines to vines. We remove the vines from the ground and we plant vines and we teach them how to make their own wine. And also that's a market for the people who left behind, like the wife left. And then also we have another global grant that got approved last month for rehabilitation for the mothers and the children of the fallen soldiers. And we will be in that camp, like Lila camp over here. We have a camp for them. We have 120 families. And then we're going to provide them with a lot of supplies also from the lead when we're out over there at the camp. So it gives you great pleasure to just be with, you can live their life. That's what's great about the global grant. That you can live their life just throughout the process. Like Karen would say, if we have time right now, if you want to attend our session right after this one on 10, 6, 10, whatever, please do. Because this is going to be about how to put a global project together. So I want to say I'm available all the time. My wife available for environmental. My wife has 2 big projects right now. They just pulled out of the river 2 weeks ago, over 400 tons out of the Colorado River with the help of the Rotarian and the government. And today, as we speak right now, she's over there until Monday afternoon.
I was holding this. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Well, thank you. Let me show that. Thank you.
Thank you, John.